Hey everybody, Cameron here, and welcome back. The Simpsons have been going on, and we couldn't do just one list, so this is another list for the top 10 Simpsons guest stars. For this list, we're taking a look at more guest stars who have lent their voices to The Simpsons. If you saw a guest star you think should be on this list, there will be a link in the description to the original video. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 10. David Hye Pierce as Cecil. Bart has always had a decent rivalry with Sideshow Bob, but when his brother Cecil arrives in Springfield, it seems that the more sophisticated Kelsey Grammer has been greatly outshone by his brother, mostly because that Cecil was voiced by David Hye Pierce, whose acting talents include Osmosis Jones and other great films. This especially works well considering when you realise how sophisticated and well-mannered both actors sound, and so it makes it worth when you see how they act well off each other. It even shows that craziness certainly runs in the family, and I have to say he would later appear in other Simpsons episodes and make himself known. So, thank you, David Hye Pierce. Number 9. Adam West. This late comedy legend really made himself known on The Simpsons when he once again starred as himself. Adam West has been well known to play a variety of characters, but he's always well known as the man who was originally the first Caped Crusader. Before there was times with Michael Keaton and Christian Bale, and when Ben Affleck showed up, the only real live-action Batman we got was Adam West. So it's nice that The Simpsons got him on. This was a great way for him to be remembered, for he had previously died years later, and it was nice to see he at least got a guest spot on the show, as he was more well known for his role as the mayor on Family Guy. So I guess you can bend the rules and be on both networks at the same time. Number 8. Kathleen Turner as Stacey Lavelle. When you're finding someone to play a very sophisticated upper-class woman, there are a few options you can go with, but no one has dared be more sophisticated than Kathleen Turner. She plays the woman who created Malibu Stacy, one of Lisa's favourite toys, and they both set out to create a brand new doll which will help better girls understand, because the messages Lisa feels that the Malibu Stacys are sending out is not especially good. The episode even is titled Lisa vs. Malibu Stacy, which especially intrigues me. But Kathleen Turner is more known for her acting talents as Mr. Bing on Friends, and she also starred in many other flicks. So it's nice to know they at least got someone sophisticated. Number 7. Michelle Pfeiffer as Mindy. Michelle Pfeiffer is an odd choice when you're trying to find someone who can play off a secret love interest for Homer. She plays Mindy, who shows up at the nuclear power plant and seems all too similar to Homer in many ways. She's a bit of a klutz, loves donuts, and is quite attractive. Homer eventually becomes attractive to him, but he doesn't want to tell Marge. Michelle Pfeiffer has starred in plenty of films, from Catwoman, and plenty of interesting acting talents for the actress. Though these days she's not looking those good, it's nice to know that she at least got an amazing role. And I also loved her saying dough. Number 6. Rodney Dangerfield as Larry Burns. Mr. Burns has a son? A son? I have a son! No, but seriously. Larry Burns is Mr. Burns' long-lost son after a brief night he had with a woman after seeing one of the greatest films ever, Gone with the Wind. Well, frankly, my dear, he clearly didn't give a damn, because his son in the episode is later found selling oranges on the side of the train tracks. He eventually tracks Mr. Burns back to Springfield, but eventually finds out his dad is a bit of lame-o. The reason he's so memorable is because he was played by the late Rodney Dangerfield, who could really spice things up, mostly famous for his acting roles in movies like Casper and Back to School. But it was a great way to remember a great comedy legend. Number 5. James Woods. Apu gets fired from his only job working at the Quickie Mart and eventually has to live with the Simpsons. He eventually sings a song about how much he doesn't want to live at the Quickie Mart, but eventually realises it's mine. Who he gets replaced by is quite interesting, as James Woods plays a phenomenal performance. he pretty much takes on Apu's usual routine, even down to getting robbed by Snake. Eventually, Apu comes back and realizes that he's the only one who can run the Quickie Mark, but eventually it was good to have James Woods on. James Woods is more commonly known for playing a variety of characters. His more frequent guest spots include Family Guy, and also his acting talents in films like Hercules and Stuart Little too. So yeah, usually playing a villain, but it was nice to see him take on a different light. Number 4. Alan Brooks as Hank Scorpio. When a strange new organization attempts to kidnap Homer to get him into his company, he eventually gets taken away to a secret organization where he meets his boss Scorpio, who happens to be voiced by Alan Brooks. Scorpio you can only describe as a dastardly villain. He's pretty much a James Bond villain, and there even is a cameo by James Bond, not played by Sean Connery or any other of the James Bond actors. But it was nice to have Alan Brooks. He's quite a unique character, and I thought his portrayal as a man who can go from 1 minute nice and sweet can actually go sour. Mostly what Kelsey Grammer's been doing as Sideshow Bob. Yeah, I found it was an okay thing. I never really enjoyed the episode, but I did happen to enjoy what a great performance this maybe James Bond villain was. Number 3. Danny Daveto as Herbert Powell. So, who could possibly play Homer's maybe brother? How about the great legend Danny Daveto? Danny Daveto has starred in many films, and he's quite the catch in this one. He plays Homer's maybe brother, and he can only be described as a bit of a sleaze. He's not very interesting, but it is nice to have a cameo by a man who has done a lot of crazy things. He's more memorable for his guest spots on Friends, his portrayal as the dad in Matilda, and also other family films. But this guest spot is okay for what it is. I just thought he could have gotten a better role. Number 2. Katy Perry. So yeah, this is my number 2 spot. The only ever celebrity in The Simpsons to make a live action appearance is Katy Perry. She's a great singer and has acted in films like The Smurfs, but she's not that good an actress. She has to play Moe's kind of girlfriend in this one sketch from a Christmas episode. It's okay because it was in a Muppet-style Christmas, but it could have been slightly better. I mean, what do you do with a woman who was very popular at the time? I have to say that she works well not trying to laugh in between puppets, and she even gets to sing at the end. So I guess it was okay for a small cameo from the Queen of Pop. So before we get to our number 1 spot, here are some few of my honourable mentions. And the honourable mention is Lady Gaga. And our number 1 Simpsons guest star is Elton John. In celebration of Rocket Man coming out, I've decided to put this at my number 1 spot. Apu has not been the greatest with love, and this time on Valentine's Day he tries to make up for it with a bunch of different gestures. And it seems that one gesture involving Elton John might be, but it actually turns out it's a plane. So that means Homer and a bunch of the single dads have kidnapped Elton John. He eventually gets to sing a song for Apu and his wife, and he even gets to see Apu's reaction to seeing him. Elton John has been more famous for his singing chops and his role in Kingsman 2, and also a brief cameo in the Country Bears movie. But I think this guest spot deserves my number 1 spot because of how bizarre it is that a British man shows up in The Simpsons, even though they'd later go to London to find many British people. So do you agree with my picks? What's your favourite Simpsons guest star? Leave your answer in the comments below and do subscribe for more top 10s like this.